So, Nod by Adrian Barnes. It's an interesting concept. In fact, the concept is what hooked me into buying it. What would happen if humanity lost the ability to sleep? So in Nod, overnight, the sun comes up in the morning, nobody has slept, or most people haven't slept. Only a few people can retain the ability to sleep. One of those people is our protagonist, Paul, who has to watch his girlfriend slowly go mad and lose her humanity because she's unable to sleep. Now, this had all the makings of fantastic dystopian piece of literature. Had all the makings of something that could have been a classic. It's got a unique premise. We've seen earthquakes and floods and zombie apocalypses and all that kind of stuff, nuclear war, all done to death. Nobody, as far as I'm aware, so far, up to this point, has done mankind losing the ability to sleep. It's a very unique premise. And all the elements are in this book. We have the factions, we have the militia, the religious cults, the standard zombie type drifters just roaming from town to town killing people. Breakdown of society. We have the trope of the child that is taken in by the survivors and made as this sort of last hope. It's all in there. It could have been a fantastic book. Sadly, the author decides to eschew any idea of good story. The story just kind of chugs along. One thing happens, then another thing happens, then, and there's no real goal, there's no real aim or direction of the story. Things just happen, and there's no character development, no plot development, no location building. So it's all a bit sort of undertones of plot rather than an actual hardcore plot. And the author decides to go off on these eye-rolling tangents where he berates humanity and religion and philosophy and everything else that he can. And I love a bit of nihilism. And you'd think nihilism would work well in dystopian literature. It does not here, because this book just seems like something the author wanted to crank out so he could berate humanity. It's a big letdown. And trust me, by the time you've heard him bang on about how humans are like squirrels for the 13th time, yeah, trust me, that happens. You'll be rolling your eyes in your head. And along the way, we've got some stuff happens on a boat, some stuff happens in school. You know, little girls are rescued, like I said. There's stuff in there. There's frankly surreal scenes where everybody our protagonist sees looks like a giant furry animal, which is really weird. And overall, it just felt like a massive letdown. It wasn't written well. If you're going to put nihilism into a novel, balance it out. Make sure that the plot has direction. The characters, we care about the characters, because frankly I didn't in this book. I didn't care what happened to Paul. I didn't care what happened to Tanya, his girlfriend. I didn't care what happened to the little girl. I didn't care about most of them. There's a couple of violent scenes in there just for shock, I guess. There's some very crude sex scenes in there, something like a 14-year-old schoolboy would write. And overall it's just very bad, and I was very, very disappointed that this book had so much promise. There was so much there that could have made it a great book, but it was just let down. It was poorly executed. Overall, over 100, I'm going to give this maybe a 35%. Yeah, but obviously this review is just my opinion. Go ahead and pick it up for yourself. If you want to know what it's like, what it's about, you might like it, I don't know. But it's Nod by Adrian Barnes, and I'll see you in the next review.